After dark, baby.
Don't do it.
I just want to get back to winning. it's we certainly have a lot to talk about, but I like talking about winning.
I said it to Carolyn today. I was like, I don't even want to do this podcast because it's just going to be me fucking arguing and venting about the fact that we took 2 points from 2 matches. And I said anything but 6 would be a failure on the last one. And yeah,
I mean, I said 4. I'd be okay with
we both did.
I listened back. I said 6, and then 5 minutes later I said 4. So I was in both camps.
I said 6. We're all wrong. No one wanted 2. What are we, like 6 points back from City now?
Yep. But today is just like there's so much just out of the club's control. And I cringed every moment. They're like, oh, Mason Mount having a talk with Thomas Tuchel on the sideline because no one knows what they're doing. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, of course no one knows what they're doing. Like, you got half the team playing out of position, and you literally have 4.5 people on the bench.
Yeah, Dave too, right? Like, no, there was space down that right side when they would go forward, and Dave was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
For me, he's been a nominee of the get the fuck out of here award.
He's been bad.
He has not been good. And well, my biggest thing is you can see his age. It was kind of like when Bronislav, like right before we kind of kicked him back to Russia or wherever he was from. But like
Serbia played in Russia.
Same goddamn thing.
Locomotive.
Yeah. Like you could just tell that things were kind of going by him.
And he gives he gives a foot more of space because he has to, and it allows for crosses to come in, and it allows for him to get beat more.
And honestly, we're starting to see that with Dave, and it is like we all hate seeing it, we all hate saying it, but it is what it is, right? Like we're all realists. He's not able to keep up anymore. He's just not. Like he's been a great fucking right back. Like he has been, and nobody's going to argue that. But you know, when you can't hang anymore, you can't hang.
No, see, but that's the thing. He's a great right back. We don't play a right back.
But he's not a good right center back either.
Yeah, see, that's the thing Ivanovic had going for him, is that he could be a center back. He could interchange between the two. Dave cannot. I am perfectly fine with Dave going to Barca in January or in the summer because he doesn't fit the system. We need a wing back. We need Serginho Dest.
But don't you think Dave's skill set? I mean, just realistic, logical thinking. Like, don't you think his skill set in a less up and down role would be perfectly suitable as a right center back? Because everything that he's shown me would tell me yes.
Skill wise, I believe that he has the skill. I don't think he has, I don't know if you call it the ability, something. He's like Christensen. He plays 4 feet off the defender because he doesn't want to get beat. The same with Alonso. No, I take it back. Alonso goes at people and then gets beat. But it's the same as Christensen. They just back off and try to absorb pressure, and then they get beat.
I don't think Dave fits the mold of a right center back. I personally don't. I think he needs to be in a 4-back system, 2 center backs, a right back, a left back, and occasionally making a run. But this right wing back thing, it doesn't do well. Honestly, his distribution from a center back position, lacking. I would use that term. I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great for anybody who should be in that position. It just seems like he's kind of run his course. However, I will say under a different manager at Chelsea, yeah, it still might work, but not under this system under Tuchel.
So Parker, I want to get your take on this because Matt and I hashed this out in game. Let me set the stage. Adama Traore comes on for Wolves. Speedster, they're going to break on the counter.
Yep.
Tuchel counters that by switching Dave and Reese. Reese becomes a center back. Dave becomes the wing back. With, I assume, because Reese is more able to keep up with Traore.
Okay.
Is that a worthwhile move?
No, I don't think so. I think Dave's a better defender, and I think with Thiago to help with that situation with Adamo, like, it's an interesting thought because you would think the pace, would be able to kind of keep up with them, and that's probably. But I think you're lacking them on your wing back, and I think it provides more opportunity for the opposing team to break in more controlled play versus that like direct play, and I think that they would eat them alive on that right wing back.
And when they did do that, when they did switch those two, that's when our attacks down the right started failing consistently because it was Dave going forward to that ball. And Matt, like you said, his distribution was awful.
What's really funny about his distribution, I was going to say this before, what's funny about his distribution is back in the Willian days, Matthew already commented about, who was the best service of crosses on that system? Dave.
Yep.
It was. Always.
Who's the only person that Murata could score off of? Dave.
Yeah. He sent those balls in beautifully. Mm-hmm. Always. Consistently.
Now?
And someone got on it.
Now?
Not so much.
It's just not there. And obviously, like, we're not happy to talk about it, but I feel like it's kind of run its course. And the one thing I will say about the Adama Traore, the Dave Reese switch, usually Adama Traore plays on the right against Marcus Alonso. Do you think that was more done in that kind of predicament? Because Alonso would he would have had his ass handed to him against Adama Traore. And then Rudy has to fall back. Then Thiago has to fall back. Is Dave going to be able to have enough speed to get back, or is Reese going to be able to have enough speed to get back? I think you put Reese there because Adamo was kind of floating a little bit all over the place. He was a little bit more predominant on the left, but he was also coming through on the right. So I think you put Reese back there to be able to cover from a defensive standpoint because you don't want to lose 1-0 on an Adama Traore like cross and then Davis still trotting back and trying to keep up with it. So I don't mind the move at all, actually.
For what it's worth, I think Wolves improperly uses him a little bit. I think it's very like all or nothing with him. Like they just kind of heroically send balls down for him to go get. And when they did that, we dealt with it very, very easily, it seemed. I mean, Thiago Silva makes a lot of things look easy, so I'll say easily in parentheses because easy for him. But I just didn't see a ton of threat with Traore. I mean, the guy's built like a brick shit house, and they don't use him as such. I think he could have been a commanding force, but I don't know. I didn't feel too worried about it. I don't know about you guys.
No, I didn't feel worried about it when he came on. That's why I was confused why Tuchel made that swap between Dave and Reese, because it was like we're already imposing our will. We dominated the possession in that second half. And worst case scenario, you had Rudy was playing back, so you had Silva and Rudiger back. Like, just let Reese go, let him go and link up with Mace. It frustrated me.
And to me, having watched like Wolverhampton play, he normally plays on that right side. So I was more concerned about him going up against Alonso.
But then why didn't he?
I don't get paid millions of dollars to make that decision, but usually he plays on the right, which I would think as soon as I saw him like about to come on, I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna get burned down the right side with Alonso. I think he said I think I said that in the group chat. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes.
Yeah.
I really think Tuchel did that, assuming that Adama Traore would be coming on the right to try and help Alonso. I really do. Because if Alonso gets beat, then you have Rudy. And then if they have more people going forward, then Thiago has to come out. And then you need somebody else on the back post. Dave's not going to be able to track back or do any of those things, at least to the rate that he used to. So you need Reece, somebody who is a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, to be able to make that move. Because we actually got beat on the back post. Luckily, it was called offsides, but we got beat on the back post. And that was Alonso. So,
and there was a free header
that
free header that Alonso basically like did one of these.
Yep. No. He peeled off. If you watch it, he literally just started backtracking.
Yeah, he went away.
Yeah, guess what? He would have gotten fucking cleats to the head in the locker room if he would have just been like, oh no, I feel like somebody else got that. Well, Rudiger and Silva had their own shit to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alonso was like, oh no, they should be good. And he even saw the guy. There was a video. He saw the guy and he was like, we're good. And he just started backing off.
Thank God.
He can get fucking bent. Yeah. He is fucking awful. He did well for 2 years. Fucking ship him back to Spain. Have him go play for fucking Atletico. I'm sure Felipe Luis is probably 37 years old. They need a left back. Go ship him fucking anywhere.
You know, we can send him to Bournemouth and play with Gary Cahill in the championship.
They don't even want him.
Maybe we can start a GoFundMe and get him on Elon Musk's next trip to the moon or wherever the fuck he goes.
Mars.
Honestly, that's probably our best option.
Oh God.
He'd probably still get beat out there.
Barrel aged stout sour.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that for me.
Yeah, well, it was my last cold one, so sorry. It's bitter and sour,
pungent,
and
it stings the nostrils,
and it lingers.
It's like Sex Panther.
Exactly. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Yes.
But Marcus Alonso does not.
Marcus Alonso is on for 60% of the time and works none of the time.
There's gonna be a Netflix documentary about him. The rise and
he needs to go back. He needs to go back to the blonde tips. He really does. That's when he was playing well. And like he just has to do it. It worked well for Jorginho and Thiago Silva. I mean, Thiago Silva's been playing out of his fucking mind, but like Jorginho hasn't been the same since he lost the tips, and neither has Marcus Alonso. So go find a stylist, get that shit done.
I don't even know what we do at left back. I know we got people on loan, but I don't know if we're going to focus on the Champions League and all that. Like, do you want a 19-year-old left back? Do you want Emerson?
Do you want Marcus Alonso as your left back?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell you do.
Cho, probably.
No, I want him in the attacking.
He's not my best 11 though.
I'll take him over Timo.
Sure, if we have Chos, but if we don't, then I prefer Cho as our left back. Because the what is it the difference over replacement or whatever the freaking stat is, like wins over replacement,
the WAR, yeah
that stat, it's different because we don't have anyone better at left back, and we have someone that's at least feasible.
There's no replacement player to base him off of.
Honestly, what I'm a little bit pissed off about, where was the Rudy run? Like, I feel like he's been lacking in that. I don't know if Tuchel's told him, hey, you need to kind of chill out on that, but I want the Rudy run. We need it. Because it opens things up. Like, more than most people know, it opens a ton of shit up.
He couldn't today. Wolves were so compact. It was tough to get anything going. I missed it, but yeah, I didn't see any room for him to make that run other than the one time where he gave it to Alonso and then Alonso proceeded to turn around and pass it back to Mendy.
Yep.
Fucking Alonso, the Michael Bradley. I will switch my Michael Bradley analogy to Marcus Alonso. Jorginho is off the hook.
Drink
Marcus
every time
Alonso.
Matt talks about Michael Bradley in this podcast.
We really should make a drinking game for this podcast.
It's so bad. How many times did Marcus Alonso actually play the ball forward today? I rest my case.
Not a lot.
I rest my case. Like, it's just all he does because he's so goddamn slow.
He's a one-trick pony too.
I've seen paint dry faster than he moves up and down the pitch. I really have.
He tries to take people to the byline every single time.
And then I'm just gonna play it back and whatever. So I don't understand it. Like, he just does whatever I don't even know what he does. Like, I really don't. He just kind of goes down the left and then occasionally tries to get forward, but then probably loses possession, or I just don't get it.
And then in defense, at least twice a match, he will have someone square up against him and they will take him on and he will get beat.
And he'll be on his ass.
Yeah, like badly beat. Because that happened. he was good for that.
Let's get back to the important topic here.
Drinking game.
Yes.
I'm on the same wavelength.
So I would say every time Matt mentions Jorginho, but that one's too easy. I like the Giroud one because that's a sneaky one.
Yep. I feel like anytime someone says absolutely or 100%, because I think that's our go-to like agreement words.
Parker, anytime you say, and that's my thought about that.
Yep. How I wrap things up. I don't ever know how to wrap. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know how to like.
Parks, you're always the I 100% agree. You're always that guy. I 100% agree with you. Like it.
100%.
You are like the Switzerland of this pod. You don't really take a side. You're always in the middle.
I've got my takes.
Yeah, true.
I try to be. I go back and forth. Like in my own head, I go back and forth because like I watch things and then I digest Twitter, and those are two like polar opposite viewpoints of the world. And then I'm like, well, where do I fall on this? And it's like I can see where like I'm not happy with this. I can also see where I'm not overreacting about this, right? So it's tough to balance things. Is like, yeah, I want to win. Yeah, I don't think the draw is good enough. But am I also pulling the ripcord on Tuchel? Like, no, I'm not, because I don't think Tuchel gets paid to finish fucking crosses. I don't think Tuchel gets paid to finish 10 shots on goal against Everton, which we had.
Didn't we have 13, or we had 13 shots and like 8 on target in the first half against Everton?
We had at least 10 on target in the match. I don't know.
It was something fucking stupid.
Tuchel doesn't get paid to finish those Like Pulisic does. Like
And he gets
Kai
paid
Havertz
$12
does,
to
and
finish
Timo
nothing.
Werner does, and Rom does. Like those guys do. I thought it's my favorite. It's my favorite quote. Super Troopers. Like can't make them speed cap.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't make them score. All you can do is tell them what they need to do to score.
It's like, and everything else was working. Like they should have scored.
Yeah.
It's
Multiple
brutally,
times.
it's brutally obvious, and it's painful to watch when they don't. So I don't know. I feel like I can be a little bit of Switzerland, but I am conflicted.
I just say my shit based on what I see. But I do understand once everybody gives their points, and like I get it. Obviously, I don't do the whole Twitter thing, but I get what people say. Like I understand it, but at the same time, like
The only thing I'll fight you on is I like Kante in the back. That's the only thing. That's the only words that you said today that I fight you on.
no. So I will counter you on that right now. I don't like him in the box on the attack. He is not somebody who is technical or creative enough inside of the box or inside of that final third. Yeah, you can link up with him in the midfield. That's fine. Kick a ball out to Reese or like do all that stuff. Once you push him closer to the box, he is a liability.
But
that's the part that I don't like about him being so up top. But at the same time, yeah, he presses on the defensive side. I get that. He's high up, he's pressing. I get that. But are you willing to sacrifice an attacking player versus a high pressing defensive player
outside of today,
when you're struggling to score goals? Sorry.
Outside of today, how often is he in the box though? Usually, normal games where fully healthy, it's like maybe once a match. He's like in the box.
He was in the box.
Being a part
he was
of the
getting
attack.
up towards the box a lot today.
But it was today because he had to. We didn't have anything else.
But I liked when he was in the box today, and I think the only liability I see out of him is I don't think he's a goal scoring threat, which might make him a liability. But I think he's a good distributor in the box.
I think he's a good distributor and like just past midfield.
I thought he made good runs. I thought he made good plays in and around the box.
So let me phrase it this way. He's not going to be somebody that's going to have that link in or that through ball to somebody. He's going to always look to try and either kick it back or kick it out wide. He's not in that. He's not an attacking mindset midfielder. He's more of a setup midfielder, like kicking it out to the wings and kicking it out for crosses, as opposed to trying to find that through ball.
Hockey assist.
Yeah, essentially. Which I think that's kind of what you're alluding to. Like he was setting up things where you can get out to Dave, get out to Reese, things like that. Like he did a great job, but when he's in close quarters with Mount, with Ziyech, with Pulisic, that is not the guy that I want linking up with those three.
And I don't mind it. I just like I hear you, and it's a fair point. I think like if we see more of it more consistently, I think it could lead to a lot of good things.
And my other thing is we've seen this before with Sarri ball. We've seen him in that attacking half, that final third, and it did not work out well. Yeah, he was great on the defensive side, but like he's not going to he's not going to draw anybody on the defensive side. Like if he's in that final third, he's not going to draw any defenders. They're going to say, yeah, go ahead and shoot. Like, go nuts. Like he's not an offensive threat like somebody else would be. Or even if you put somebody like, a Ross or even a Kova, at least he's going to have some half-ass shots, but Kante is not one to really pull the trigger that often. Kova will at least pull the trigger. Jorginho won't unless he's on the spot.
Kante only scores when there's 3 people in front of him and it's against Tottenham and he makes all of them.
Exactly. It's just that whole thing. Like you've seen him in that attacking or that higher up defensive position, if you want to call it, and just him trying to be a bigger part of the offense. I'm not a fan of it.
My last word is I think he's gotten better. Since
Sarri. I will give you that. I think he has gotten a lot better.
And I think that there's still positive in it. So that's what I'll
end up. Matt, I was on your side until you said that last part about it didn't work in Sarri ball, and it's not working now. Kante has to play that role. He has to play that further up, because otherwise you're ceding possession to the other team. It's like a corner in the NFL playing bump and run coverage. It's, in baseball, playing the infield in with a runner at third to try to catch the guy at home. Basketball, full court press, any number of sports, like, you can translate that. You're with him being there, you're dispossessing the other team in their own third at a higher rate than you would be if you had him playing where Jorginho plays, where Saul played, around the center line. So by playing him there, regardless of how he played, regardless of whether or not he can shoot, you're dispossessing. He's kicking it out to a wing, to someone else who can distribute, so that you're getting that quick attack. So you're creating more scoring opportunities. It's not necessarily about can he shoot, can he not shoot, can he distribute, can he not distribute. His job is to create havoc when the other team has the ball in their own third.
And my point, and I'm fine with that. I understand that. I understand his job of playing that up role is to be that single point of chaos. I get that. My question boils down to, are we okay with our current situation where we're struggling to score? Are we okay with N'Golo Kante being somebody who we're relying on as a quasi-attacking midfielder? Are we gaining more by him being forward in a defensive presence, or are we losing more by him being up there for an attacking presence?
So let me counter.
That's ultimately the question, and I feel like it seems like him with like a link up play, like in close quarters, things like that, he's just going to kick the ball back or kick the ball out wide, which that's part of link up play. I get it, but it seems to me he's not the attack minded midfielder we would necessarily want going forward in Tuchel style of play.
So who would you rather play there is my question.
And that's a great question. Are we talking all healthy?
Yeah, you got a fully healthy squad.
Kova.
Do you know Kova's scoring record?
Do you know N'Golo Kante's scoring record?
N'Golo's better.
That's fine.
Kova has also
had how many deflected goals does he have?
Kova has 2 goals since joining Chelsea.
And N'Golo Kante has how many? I know you're looking it up now.
I am looking it up right now because you're wrong.
Because you're wrong.
Let's see. N'Golo Kante.
Drink every time Collins pulls out stats.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
It's gonna be a real quick pod if that's the case.
Since
It's gonna be a drunk pod.
since Kovacic has joined, he has 2 goals, and N'Golo Kante has 11.
How many were deflected?
Doesn't matter. You're putting the ball in a dangerous spot that ends up in the back of the net.
I'm sorry. And that's fine. I completely agree with the stat approach. I just don't like him in that final third when we're trying to do a link up style system under Tuchel.
I mean,
especially attack minded, when you have Kova who can make his own runs and Kante who kind of flows in there to just try and create havoc and then kick it out wide. Kova can create his own.
Kova's like Nemanja Matic. He can make his own run. He can distribute. He does everything right until he shoots the ball. Then it's going.
I'm sorry, Parker. Do you want to argue this? We were at Brett's. The man has a thunderbolt for a left foot. Nemanja Matic.
That's right.
You know
That's right, he does.
He has an Antonio Rudiger thunderbolt. Yes.
No.
Yeah. Yes. He's creating thunder, but it might be in the next town over.
It still goes in.
Bringing it back to what you guys were talking about. I think if Pulisic was out and Rom was in the box, if you would have seen some of that link up play between Mount, Kante, and Reese down the right, and then feeding balls like crosses into Rom, I think that's incredibly dynamic. I think that a lot of good comes from that. I just don't think Christian's the right guy to get on the end of that. And I think a lot of goals can come from that. Though that partnership and then that build-up play. I don't know if Kante's the first ball or the second ball, third ball in that, but that link-up play leads to balls into Rom, leads balls to Timo, and goals get scored from that.
So let me ask this question. With that same link up that you were talking about, just hypothetically,
yep.
If you replace Kante with Kova, do you see that same type of link up? Do you see a better link up?
I see similar link up. I to be completely honest with you, I would almost rather Kova be in next to Kante and then kind of cover that defensive, because when someone goes forward, someone's got to kind of cover back, and then Kova be that enforcer back. I'd almost rather him be there in that system.
And I would,
because I think he's great at winning the ball back, and Kante is too, but I think he's a more physical, more defensive player to win back possession. That's how I would see him playing in there.
And me personally, I see it the opposite way.
And you could probably interchange it. Like, you really probably could. And that's if you have those two playing next to each other, you can have one go forward, the other drop back, and then vice versa.
And then you could easily switch that. I just like knowing the kind of service that Kova can provide, especially on like a through ball, like we saw before he got injured and everything like that, like a through ball or something over the top. I don't see N'Golo Kante doing that.
Yeah. And Collins, your argument about goals is completely irrelevant. We don't need either of them to score goals.
See, no. I was just about to say, if you zoom out, ultimately you're looking at the problem right there. Is we're talking about relying on someone in this midfield to score goals. None of our midfielders can score goals. None of them. Ruben Loftus-Cheek can't score goals. Ross Barkley clearly can't score goals. Saul can't score goals. Jorginho, Kante, Kova can't score goals. The whole reason.
Jorginho can score goals as long as
he can score penalties. I know, I get it. But the whole issue is that our forwards can't score right now. So we're forced to look at, well, who should be scoring goals that can't? The whole problem comes down to Rom, Timo, and Havertz not being clinical. If they're clinical, then the system works. If they're not, then we're fucked, as we're seeing right now, because then you're banking on people who are not supposed to scoring. And so if we go back to our, is this sustainable conversation? No, it's not. This is like asking your pitcher to hit 50 home runs in a year.
Easy Shohei.
Okay, poor example.
Oh, you're right. I was clearly wrong on that debate. I took a hard stance for once, said it was sustainable, and now I was wrong.
I 100% agree with you, Parker.
Oh man. I mean, had COVID and injuries not been the case, we might have been able to sustain some of it, but no, it wasn't sustainable, and our forwards need to be better.
Yeah,
Point blank.
I think we're just. I mean, a lot of teams go through it. Unfortunately for us, we know December is a month where all hell breaks loose, and it's coming apart a lot more than we thought it would, which is striking up a lot of these conversations. Like, who do you want where? And like, well, when you don't have anybody to go to, what are you going to do? Put Bettinelli in the midfield? At this point, you might have to, because you don't trust Ross. Saul, he made a case today. He hasn't made a case in the other 5 games that he's played, but he made a damn good case today.
He also hasn't put in a full 90 yet.
Well,
Very true.
He hasn't been trusted to play a full 90 yet.
I know, but he hasn't.
But he did put in a good shift in
The 2 times he was started, he was subbed off at half.
For obvious reasons. But I think today, in a time where it was full chaos and we needed calming, I think he was put in the role that he should be playing in. And he proved that he can play that role if provided the opportunity to play in that one specific role, not as a left back, not with some other partner who is not going to match what he's going to do. I think he did a very good job today. Granted, I use very good based on what he's done previously, so it's not a very high bar, but I thought he did very well today.
Mm-hmm.
I would give him probably a 6'8", 7'2", somewhere in that range. Collins, Statman. What do you got?
He was like a 6'8", 6. So that was solid. Why can't we just copy what City's doing? They don't have a striker, and they lead the league in goals. Or no, they're second in the league in goals.
Because they don't have anybody hit by COVID or injury.
Yeah. So
is De Bruyne playing for them?
Not consciously.
Last time I checked, he wasn't, but I couldn't remember.
I think he played against Brentford in the 7-0 match. So he probably got a breather.
His last match, he played today, 90 minutes, and then 90 minutes against last week against Leeds.
I feel like no one's talking about him this year, which scares me.
Do you know he's 30 already?
Mm-hmm.
He's an old man.
He's our age.
Oof.
Your age.
I'm all potted out.